It was a sunny Saturday, and I'd organized a neighborhood BBQ to bring everyone together. The smell of grilled kebabs filled the air, and laughter echoed in the backyard. My wife, Ayesha, was busy setting up drinks, unusually cheerful and energetic. I assumed she was just excited to host. Rehan, our neighbor, arrived with his wife, Sana. Everyone seemed happy, but little did I know this BBQ would uncover a secret that would shatter my entire world. As the party settled, I began noticing subtle glances between Ayesha and Rehan. At first, I brushed it off as harmless friendliness, but their smiles seemed different. Every time Rehan spoke, Ayesha laughed harder than usual, her hand resting briefly on his arm. Meanwhile, Sana sat quietly, avoiding everyone's gaze. Something felt wrong, but I didn't want to overthink it. I kept telling myself, it's just my imagination. I had no idea that my doubts were about to turn into a nightmare. While flipping skewers on the grill, I overheard hushed voices behind the patio door. It was Ayesha and Rehan talking urgently. I caught fragments. You promised. We can't keep hiding this. My hands froze, the tongs trembling slightly. Before I could get closer, they quickly separated and pretended nothing happened. My instincts screamed that something was wrong, but I forced myself to stay calm. I decided to watch closely, quietly gathering pieces of a puzzle I wasn't ready to solve yet. Later, I found Sana standing alone by the drinks table, staring into her glass. I asked if she was okay, and her voice cracked as she replied, "I just can't believe this is happening." When I pressed further, she shook her head and whispered, "You'll find out soon enough." Her words unsettled me deeply. My chest tightened, my mind racing with possibilities. I wanted to demand answers, but something told me the truth would come out on its own, and it wouldn't be pretty. As the evening wound down, Sana suddenly raised her voice, calling everyone's attention. Her hands shook, her face pale but determined. "Since Rehan won't be honest, I will," she said loudly. "I'm pregnant, and it's not his baby." Gasps erupted around the yard. Rehan's face turned white. Ayesha froze, and my stomach dropped. Then Sana turned sharply toward my wife, her voice trembling but firm. "It's your husband's baby." My ears rang, my body numb. In one sentence, my entire world. The confrontation. I stared at Ayesha, searching her face for denial, for anything that would make this untrue. "Tell me she's lying," I said, my voice shaking, but Ayesha looked away, tears forming in her eyes. Rehan tried to speak, but Sana stopped him cold with a glare. Finally, Ayesha whispered, "I'm sorry. I didn't mean for this to happen." Her confession was the final blow. My heart felt crushed, my breath uneven, and the woman I loved suddenly felt like a stranger. Guests stood frozen, whispering and exchanging shocked glances. Sana stormed inside, slamming the door behind her, while Rehan followed helplessly. Ayesha tried to approach me, pleading for forgiveness, but I stepped back, unable to bear her touch. The BBQ, meant to bring people together, had exploded into chaos. I walked away from the crowd, my mind spinning, struggling to process the betrayal unfolding in front of everyone. My life, my marriage, my trust, it all shattered in a single unforgettable moment. That night, I locked myself in our bedroom, refusing to speak to Ayesha. She slept in the guest room, her quiet sobs echoing through the house. My phone buzzed endlessly. Calls, texts, and sympathy messages from friends who had witnessed the disaster. I didn't answer anyone. The humiliation burned deep. I stared at the ceiling, numb and sleepless, replaying Sana's words again and again. "It's your husband's baby." Everything I thought I knew about my marriage was a carefully crafted lie. The next morning, Ayesha tried to explain, her eyes swollen and voice weak. "It was a mistake," she whispered. "It only happened once." My laugh was bitter and hollow. "Once? Then why is she pregnant?" She had no answer, just silence. That silence said everything. I realized then, there was no saving us. Trust once broken can't be rebuilt overnight. I wasn't just angry, I was grieving the life I thought I had, the love I thought was real. A week later, I packed my bags and left the house we once called home. It wasn't an easy decision, but staying there meant living inside constant pain. I filed for separation, determined to rebuild myself from the ashes. Friends promised I'd heal, though happiness still felt distant. The BBQ that started with laughter ended in heartbreak, betrayal, and chaos. But deep inside, I knew this ending was also a beginning, a chance to reclaim my life and finally write my own story.